for anyone out there that knows someone that's thinking about buying their first home or is a first-time home buyer, we're going to kind of give you a financial snapshot of what a payment looks like across different price ranges that typically align with a first-time home buyer. So again, you're listening to the Duncan Do a Real Estate Show, and I wanted to start off with the first-time home buyer affordability piece. Arnie and David Diaz with Waterstone Mortgage, with us today, and they pulled this cool little chart together, and we'll get it on our Facebook page. So go to facebook.com/the Duncan Duo Show. Make sure to like us if you want this info. We'll put it up there. But one of the things I really like is it breaks down. I think a lot of people have a misconception or a misunderstanding about what their monthly payment is going to be at certain price ranges. They're out there renting a property, they're thinking about buying, and this little chart kind of breaks down, kind of some starter home prices, according to the National Association of Realtors, and of course in Tampa Bay. One of the first things I noticed, a $185,000 house, for example, has a monthly payment on the principal, principal and interest of $840. And I think a lot of people, when they look at a $185,000 house, think that it's going to be significantly more than $840. Now, granted, there's taxes and insurance that they have to factor in, and that's going to vary from property to property. But still crazy affordable for first-time home buyers. And I think 2015, and I think you guys will agree, is going to be an incredible year for first-time home buyers.
I agree. And, last week, Andrew, we talked about the average rent in the Tampa Bay area is $1,250.
Right, okay. And we just said a mortgage for $840.
$840 for
even if you factor in taxes and insurance, you're going to be likely below that rent number.
Exactly. And the other thing that's interesting about that is that the qualifying income to get to that point is only $40,320. So a lot of people think they have to have a lot more income to qualify. Now, there's other factors that go into place with that, like, what are your debts and so forth and so on. But it's interesting that this chart, actually, this came out from the National Association of Realtors, and this is for the country.
Right.
It's cheaper, actually, in the Southeast.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing is so that you break down these prices, a couple of examples. So $150,000, you're dealing with a monthly payment of $653. I mean, you can buy a $150,000 property as your primary residence, and your payment $653 plus, again, tax and insurance, but you're still well below what you're paying for rent in a condo or an apartment. And you can buy a nice single-family home for $150,000 in Tampa. There's Seminole Heights. There's South Tampa, like south of Candy, like close to my real estate office. There's nice single-family homes for $150,000. There are still, and Citrus Park, Carrollwood, Town and Country. I mean, there's still really nice parts of Tampa Bay.
Especially in comparison to the other parts of the country.
Right. Yeah, I mean, still highly, highly affordable. And the great news about, you guys, we talked about this too, but the conventional loans now are going to go to 3% down. So you can get a conventional loan with better lower priced mortgage insurance for a lower down payment than what we've seen with FHA.
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, the 97% program just came out. We mentioned it last week. It was just kind of, the beginnings of the information coming out, and we're getting a little more information now. So there's a few different options depending on your income, depending on if you're going to take a first-time home buyer class and whatnot. But there's definitely stuff that you should talk about with your lender and see if that's the right option for you.
With your lender at Waterstone Mortgage.
Yeah, Waterstone Mortgage.
What I meant by
Waterstone Mortgage.
Here's another interesting thing. Here's another interesting thing, Andrew. I think it needs to be pointed out. In 2011, the median price nationwide was $141,300. Okay, as of last quarter, it's $184,700. So that's the appreciation going up there.
Which is about 30%.
Yes.
And that's what a person thinking about renting should think about, because when you're renting, that 30% in equity gain, it goes to your landlord. And I own a lot of rental property, so hey, I like that. I like it. Hey, keep renting, and that sort of thing. But do you want to keep making your landlord rich, or do you want to put that 30% in your own pocket and your own net worth? I saw a study this week too that talked about net worth, rent versus own, like the average net worth of somebody that rents versus the average net worth of somebody that owns. So if you're someone who wants to start making good financial decisions and building wealth, buying your first home is step number one. I mean, it is. But so you look at these, you look historically at some of the prices and what's happened with rates, and looking at the chart, I mean, rates were down historic lows. I mean, and with prices starting to rise, the concern and the thing that I tell people is don't wait another year or two, because you just lost 20 grand if you're talking about an average priced home in appreciation. You lost all that to the person that owned it or a landlord.
Well, some of the things that hold people back too is they think that they hear the media that they have to put down 20%. And that's just not the case. Like with this 97% program means you can put down 3%. It can come from a gift from a relative. So maybe for Christmas you tell them, hey, don't give me any presents. Just give me some money.
Nice
for down
gift.
payment.
Yeah, it's a nice but you know what's funny about it is for years though, it almost got to the point where for a couple years where it was really challenging to get a loan, and that is over. And sometimes the public perception is it takes time for them to kind of realize what is fact today because they're so used to being drilled with 2-year-old news. You know.
Here's the difference. Back then, anyone could get a loan, and you didn't really have to prove your income, didn't have to prove your
Sure.
assets, anything. And so that's the difference. Today, you're still gonna have to prove all that, but we're just letting a little bit lesser down payment. I mean, you still have to put a little bit of skin in the game. It's not 0% like it was before with no documentation. It's gonna be documentation. We're gonna document your income, document your credit. And but now we have the option where a first-time home buyer, just realistically not going to have 20% to put down.
Right.
So 3%, 5%, whatever the option might be.
And then, of course, for all those listening to us that have served our country, the VA program, no money down.
Right.
The VA loan is an incredible loan. I saw a study not long ago. It came out from one of the, there are different organizations that support homelessness amongst veterans and charities and different things. And there was a study where they were educating people, and there was a study that showed how many veterans didn't take advantage of their VA loan or didn't know about it. And so if you've ever been in the military, you have the ability to use this loan as long as you qualify, and
100%. Yes.
It's
the best loan out there.
And that loan trumps as far as
it's the best. I mean, it is a home run loan. So